Well, I think the key thing is to continue to be myself, not try to be somebody else. Continue to tell the truth and speak about the issues that are important to the people, recognizing that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Poll numbers are volatile, particularly as you approach the first set of primaries.
That was Dr. Ben Carson moments ago reacting to the latest round of presidential polls, telling me how he plans to reverse his downward momentum. Joining us right now is former Republican presidential candidate and former Texas Governor Rick Perry. Governor, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
To be with you, Maria.
So what's your take on the field so far? We see national security being really now the number one issue, and that certainly has boosted Ted Cruz and continues to boost Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting 60 days as we go forward here, but there's certainly a trend that you cannot back away from, and that is that Ted Cruz is surging in these polls, and Trump is continuing to stay near the top, and what I think is going on now is Americans are looking for somebody that's going to be tough. Now, when you, and I don't think there's any doubt that the American people perceive that Donald Trump and Senator Cruz are both tough, and they're tough enough to lead this country. After that, then it becomes where are they on the issues and are they consistent? And I will suggest to you at that particular point in time, Mr. Trump is going to start having some headwinds from whether it's evangelicals, where he said in Iowa and said that he had never asked God for forgiveness before, or whether it's from strong private property rights individuals when he stands up and he says he's for kilo, which goes right into the face of the private property rights in our Constitution. So I think there's a real opening there for a consistent, tough candidate to move to the top of this field and maintain that going forward.
Yeah, Governor, I want to get your take on that, particularly as it relates to national security and what you think we should be doing in terms of ISIS. But let me switch gears for a moment here, because we are watching this morning oil prices continue to come down, just breaking $35 a barrel. I want to get your take on this because Texas has been obviously one of the big job creators in the country during the last couple of years while oil prices were strong. Do you worry that this is going to rip through the oil markets, Texas included, in terms of job cuts because of oil prices going lower, the shale producers forced to go bankrupt, some of them, and cut jobs?
Maria, in Texas over the last decade, we've really diversified our economy. Now, obviously, the oil and gas side of it was very important, and we're going to have some shakeout there. But the Texas economy is so resilient now because we've got Facebook, we've got eBay, we've got all these technology companies, we got manufacturing, we brought Toyota in. Every Toyota pickup truck manufactured in America is manufactured in San Antonio, Texas. So I got a report this morning. Tudor Pickering gives a report to out on the oil and gas. They are projecting $45 to $55 oil in 2016. That obviously will be about a $10 to $15 a barrel upward movement. So, you know, that's better news. Obviously, there's a real shakeout here. What Saudi Arabia is doing by continuing to flood the market, and it's going to have an impact across the world. I mean, whether it's in Venezuela, whether it's in Iraq, whether it's in Russia, a lot of those OPEC members are going to be looking at this and going, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing? Now, you know, the goal by Saudi Arabia is to absolutely crush these crackers that are going on out there in the along the Gulf Coast in Texas, going to be hit in Louisiana, the shale companies. Yeah. So I'm very cautiously optimistic that 2016 is going to be a stabilizing time. But I don't think we're going to see, you know, $70, $80 barrel of oil and the ensuing economic impact that's going to have until up in 2017. Yeah, so a shakeout is coming.
Keith McCullough.
Yeah, the general take, you know, people would qualitatively say, Governor, that it's just about oil. But, I mean, if you make one trip to Austin, Texas, for example, you're going to come to the realization that it's a new world in Texas. When do you think what's happening in Houston on the other side of Austin, from a corporate perspective, starts to matter? Is there a number, do you think, that oil actually really is something that's on the table, something that's lower than Tudor Pickering's forecast, for example?
Yeah, well, you're absolutely correct, and I think if it were to settle in here at $35, you know, West Texas Intermediate's below $35 today. I think Brent's up 36, 37.
Right.
But if you go much below that and maintain it for a long period of time, unless you were really brilliant and had some hedging on the table, we're going to see some companies that are in trouble.
That's a big problem.
Governor Perry, you've got a great business mind. You talk to people every day, companies. You're very in touch with the consumer. We're about to see possibly a historical moment for the markets this week when the Federal Reserve announces whether or not they're going to raise interest rates for the first time in a decade. How do you expect that would affect particularly the economy right there in the state of Texas?
Well, 2010 is when they should have raised those rates from my perspective, and I think raising the rates now could put us into a recession in 2016. I mean, that's kind of my Cliff Notes version of it. But
that's what Keith's been saying too, Governor, yeah.
I got that right here in my notebook, too.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about the Fed. Seems like they're following a playbook to drive the country into recession if they're going to move these rates up. My advice to them is leave them where they are.
Wow. So don't raise on Wednesday, which is what actually Keith has been saying as well. Real quick, Governor, the ISIS, national security, what's the one most important move or change President Obama can make to actually make America feel safer?
Well, I know this is going to sound a bit like a broken record, but the president needs to respond in a very strong way that we are at war with radical Islam. We don't hear him say that, and I think that sends a message not just across this country but around the world that this guy's really not engaged. He doesn't get it. So recognizing and truly sending the message that America is going to fight this radical Islam no matter where we find it, whether it is in the Middle East, whether it's in countries that are surrounding Israel, is our friend, and whether it's in Jordan, helping them fight radical Islam on their turf, but also making sure and using our intelligence community. I don't think we have put forward an intelligence community effort in this country that's what it needs to be to go penetrate through. I know there's a lot of these companies push back on the privacy side, but we can do this, both protecting citizens' privacy and also going after these radical Islamists that are using technology to be able to recruit in this country.
Do you think Hillary Clinton will be able to differentiate her policies from President Obama's, even though she was running the State Department as ISIS got stronger?
I don't know how she does it. I mean, listen, the Clintons have been masters at triangulation for a long time, and she will attempt to, but I think it's going to be, well, number one, Hillary Clinton is not Bill Clinton. And she's going to have a substantially more difficult time of being able to get the American people to believe that she is not attached at the hip to Barack Obama.
Yeah. Governor, good to have you on the program today. Thanks so much.
Maria, come see us. So long.
We'll see you soon, Governor Rick Perry.